And welcome back to El Grande, the Sunshine Coast Christmas party for the Sunshine Coast ecosystem, I guess. It's a whole lot of people coming together. We've got a bit of a story about the party. It was actually supposed to be at another venue and it moved, but we'll get to that in a minute. I'm here with Nigel Hall, serial entrepreneur, investor, local mover and shaker. Nigel, welcome. Thanks for coming and having a chat with us. Can you just, for our viewers, give yourself a little bit of a background of who you are and what you're doing on the Sunshine Coast?
Yeah, so I've been in the startup space since 1991, when I actually joined a California startup that we grew in the software space and sold off in 94. 94 started another business called Expedite that we sold into a company in Atlanta in 97. In 99 I started another business called Highway 1 in Germany that was a broadband internet access place, sort of NBN for Germany. 18 years before Australia started it, and we sold that off to Telefonica in 2001. Then I took a 5-year holiday.
5-year holiday?
And I moved to Australia in 2006.
Hang on. No, you got to go back to the 5-year holiday. I want to hear about that. What did you do in I was going to have a 6-month holiday and I lasted about 2 weeks. So what did you do in 5 years?
I actually moved to Cape Town and stayed there.
Right.
Just lived down there, surfed a lot, cycled a lot. Started cycling 120k a day, got really fit, which I've lost in the meantime, as you can tell.
You're not doing good there.
And then obviously I've got small kids, so I put some time back into my family because I'd neglected them during the startup phase. And I travelled a lot around Africa. So I did a 6-month trip at one point where we went all around Southern Africa, did lots of other trips. Generally just had a good time, did a bit of pro bono work, mentoring for early stage businesses. Did a couple of investments down there as well. Some of them good, some of them not so good. And generally just got involved in the local community. Great place. Love Africa. Love Africa.
And so on the Sunshine Coast, I know you're actively involved in the community here. What's your take on where the Sunshine Coast is at and what its future looks like?
I think we've got a real opportunity here. I came here 11 years ago and I was the entrepreneur in residence at the Innovation Centre, and I could see there was very little real big time thinking going on. There was quite a lot of people trying to create jobs for themselves but not really taking things forward. In the meantime, we've had some fantastic businesses on the Sunshine Coast who've really set the trend for new entrepreneurs to come out of those businesses and start new ones, and that infrastructure's grown massively. So this Silicon Coast I think is fantastic. The opportunity though needs to be backed by real money up here. You know, there's a group of angel investors who invest on part of Brisbane Angels. We're trying to get Sunshine Coast Angels off the ground, but really we could do with a venture capital group up here. Maybe the Queensland government should think about putting 200 million into a venture capital group rather than putting another fucking lane on the Bruce Highway. And maybe we don't need a train because there's not going to be trains in 10 years' time. Nobody's interested.
Okay, so why don't you tell us what you really think? So we've been here all week covering the startup week, and it's been a fantastic week, and there's lots of activity and lots of things going on. One thing that's really obvious to me is the lack of mentors, the lack of experienced mentors that are out giving back into this ecosystem. It is the most critical thing that somebody that's, you know, like yourself, we've earned our stripes, we've sort of got the scars to prove it. We've got to get back in there and help some of these young people. So what do you say to those people that are sitting out there thinking, I wouldn't mind doing something? I mean, what do you feel about the mentor situation?
Look, I think it's really important that if you have been in the startup space, that you put something back. That's really why I got involved with Brisbane Angels originally, because you can invest in the early stage business, put something back that way, and get actively involved in 2 or 3 other businesses on a more active scale. Do that, because the lifeblood of this community is increasingly be driven by early stage business. We can't rely on mining and tourism to drive our economy.
And selling houses to each other.
And serving each other coffee. We've reached coffee saturation point on the coast. People need to think beyond that when they're creating.
What about another coffee app?
No more coffee apps, please. No. So I invested in a coffee app. It was a bad choice.
Right. Well, I've actually got a hashtag that I use, problems worth solving. What I see is I want to see people starting to solve real problems that are real scalable problems. And another interesting point that you made is I talk to a lot of the early stage companies, and they say to me, I'm going to get it going here, and then we're going to scale to Melbourne and Sydney. And I'm saying, get it going here and scale globally.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look, there's companies who've done this. I don't know, Food Matters?
Yes.
Local business, started in the Innovation Centre. They're global.
Yeah.
They went global. They're bigger in the US than they are anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
And they're doing that from the Sunshine Coast. It is possible from here.
Yeah.
And there's loads of businesses like that who've got the opportunity. You've got to trust yourself. Don't go to the US too early. It's a difficult market, but do think about it. Do think about Europe. There's so many opportunities out there.
Yeah.
But you can do it from here because the world is flat.
Well, I mean, the world is flat. And interestingly, we're talking to someone, just Mark McVeigh from MotoDNA, and he was saying a lot of his people are spread around the world. He's got people working remotely. He's got partners in Germany. So you can actually have a lifestyle. But I think people get confused. They think it's a lifestyle, so they're lying in a hammock and just mooching. But we're not, right?
Well, what I've been shocked with actually was seeing that there's entrepreneurs who think because it's a lifestyle venue, they can work 9 till 5. That is not entrepreneurship. You have to put the hard yards in to start with.
Yeah.
I remember when I started out, I was working 14-hour days to make things work, and sometimes you have to do that. I still do it now sometimes.
Yeah.
You've got to get shit done.
Yeah.
And getting shit done is the optimum thing. You know, it's not talking to people. It's actually making a decision, pushing it through and making sure it works, and not listening to the naysayers.
Yeah.
So you've got to put the hours in to do that.
Yeah. No, you've definitely got to put the hours in, but I think that part of it is you can balance that. You can go for a surf in the morning, you can go for a bike ride in the morning or whatever, and you can still live in a wonderful environment. I mean, the environment around here is just amazing. We've been up the mountains today, we've been to the beaches, the rivers. Phenomenal. I mean, world class, really. And now what we've got to do is diversify the economy away from mining. We've got to get away from selling houses to each other, building our economy on the back of the bank's mortgage business, and start to diversify. That's my message.
You read that article by Matt Barry as well, didn't you?
I didn't actually read the article by Matt Barry this time. I skimmed it. There was nothing new in that article that I haven't heard from Matt Barry over the last couple of years. That was actually a culmination of a number of posts, a number of talks that he's done, and he put it all into one big blog post. I agree in part. I don't necessarily agree that putting people through universities and flogging them more university degrees is the answer either.
No, I don't think so either, but education is a key point. It's hard to teach someone how to do something if they haven't got a base level of education. I worked with a lot of people in Africa, disadvantaged people, and it was really difficult to teach them things because they didn't have the capacity to learn.
Yeah.
And you need to have certain mechanisms in place to be able to learn. Yeah. There's always exceptions, and people say Steve Jobs, etc., never finished their university, but they were super smart to start with.
Yeah.
If you're super smart, don't go to university. If you're just an average player, university gives you a basis that you can build on.
Yeah.
And you do need a basis a lot of the time. It's no guarantee for success, but it just gives you that grounding, I think.
Yeah.
And let's face it, you're 18, you don't need to start work. You get to work till you're 70 these days.
Don't tell me that. So Nigel,
I enjoy it, I'm not stopping.
No, well, I'm not stopping either. So what's the business that you're involved in now? You've got a couple of investments?
Yeah, I've got 15 investments.
Right.
I've got 3 that I'm more actively involved in. One's in nanotechnology.
Okay.
One's in ultrasonics, and the other one's a new platform that we hope will revolutionise some part of the industry, but I can't tell you what it is yet because we haven't launched it.
Right. Okay. Have you heard of a guy by the name of Nicholas Bergman?
No, I haven't.
So Nicholas Bergman's a European keynote speaker, technologist, serial entrepreneur, and he's got a real focus on nanotechnology, and he's a bit of a rocket scientist when it comes to nanotechnology. I thought you may have heard of him. Nigel, thanks for talking with us today.
Hey,
all the best to you, and keep doing the work you're doing in this ecosystem. And we need to get some more mentors out. So
thank you.
Thanks, mate.
People, give me a shout if you need mentoring. I won't necessarily do it, but if it's a great business, I'll work with you.
So where do they find you?
At the Innovation Centre.
At the Innovation.
I'm still based there.
Right.
11 years later, I've still got an office in there. I love the environment there. It's fantastic. There's a place where you can go. You can rent a room for a month, a year, and you can cancel month by month. No long contracts. And because there's an environment, you can link up with other people who are in this space, who are having the same problems, and tap into resources that are available at the Innovation Centre. There's a lot of mentors that come through there.
Yeah, right. Excellent. Nigel?
Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks for talking with us.